this is an SDR radio. I bought this from AliExpress. You've probably seen reviews of something along these lines before. I put off buying one of these, but the price of this one I managed to pick up for 45 UK pounds. I'll put the dollars equivalent in the video, and I thought at that price it was worth a try. Suffice to say, the reviews I've seen of this so far haven't been particularly good, and I'll give you my opinion on it today. Now, it's pretty much unbranded, apart from, what is that? Bajai, B-A-J-E-I. It was just advertised as SDR version 5, and I'll just see at the rear there, we can see SDR version 5 software defined radio. Okay, let's turn it on and we'll see what I guess is going to be the attraction for most people buying one of these. Alright, so that's the colour display that we've got. We're on the 49 meter band there. Okay, I'll just extend the whip. We're not going to hear a lot this time of day. I'll just see if I can turn the volume down a little so we don't get. So I'll just turn the volume. I'll just put that off for the moment. Okay. So there's our SDR display. It's nice and colourful. Got a frequency readout here. We've got our sort of spectrum display and our waterfall. Okay. Now, the first thing you think of, this does come with, didn't come with this one, but it comes with a little stylus screen prod, I think. It's a touch screen, isn't it? Okay. And this is going to be your first disappointment with this radio, so we'll get right into it. It looks like a touch screen. It is a touch screen. It has touch screen capabilities. There are only two things you can do with the stylus with the touch screen. Okay. The first one is a bit pointless, or it's not really pointless, but it's something you're only going to do very infrequently, and that is to set the clock. So if I just press and hold the time display there, you can see I get a little dialogue up there, and it's showing me how I can set the time and date. Okay, I'll just come out of that. The only other thing you can do with the stylus on the touch screen is to enter a frequency. Okay, so we can put a frequency in here. Let's go on to the 16 meter band, for example. We'll say 17.600. We've got a choice here, M for megahertz, K for kilohertz. So go to megahertz, and we're now on the relevant band, and we've got the frequency display. Now that's it for the touch screen. All of these items here, so we've got IF gain, we've got the LCD brightness, okay, we've got the reference, which alters the spectrum display, got an AGC setting, we got mode, separate volume controls for the audio jack, the 3.5 jack on the speaker. All of these things, we can touch those with the stylus as much as you like. It won't do anything. Okay, everything other than the frequency input and the clock, we have got a control using the rotary encoder knob here on the side of the radio. So we'll just look at the controls. We look at what we've got on the side here. We've got our encoder, which is a push as well as a turn. So you've got a clicky push button there. Okay, you've got a 5-volt output on a USB, so you can power something using the battery in this device. So that's quite unusual. Okay, we've got the on and off switch, obviously self-explanatory, and we've got a USB Type-C for charging. On the other side, take you around, we've got the 3.5mm audio jack. On the back is just that diagram, and you'll be pleased to see it's got CE marking. Okay, but we've got a little sort of block diagram of the radio itself. SMA connector on the top with the supply telescopic whip. So that's it. The radio came with absolutely no instructions. It came in a plain cardboard box with a USB lead, the whip, and a couple of adapters. There was an SMA to BNC adapter. So that was it. Absolutely no instructions. In order to access any of these items here, so if we want to turn the volume back up, what we need to do, you can see at the moment, I think the mode is highlighted, I think. Where are we? Let's see where we are. Yeah, we're on the mode. Can you see as, so I need to push in the rotary, I push in the rotary encoder knob here. And also you end up saving channels while you're doing this, I don't know. But as we step through, see we're on the frequency thing now. So we can set the frequencies. Keep going. Now I'm on the volume. So if I turn that, turn the volume up, I can turn the volume down. Okay. Similarly with the audio jack, I can do that volume. Mode. Let's have a look at the modes we can switch to with the encoder. So we're in CW mode there with a bandwidth of 800 hertz. Lower sideband 2.6K, upper sideband 2.6K, AM at 9. You can't alter that. Well, I can see absolutely no way of altering these bandwidths incidentally. So we've got 9 kilohertz on AM. It's a bit wide, but it's just about usable. Wide FM, 192 kilohertz. That's stereo FM, 192, and there's some sort of IQ output there. I don't know how that, where that appears. Does that appear on the audio jack? The IQ output? No idea. No instructions. No idea. Let's put it back to AM. We hit the encoder knob again. Okay, so push and turn. We can go up to the frequency. Read out there. You can see we've got the 9 highlighted. So we can step down in 1 kilohertz steps. You'll see that's the top end of the coverage. Look, 149 megahertz. And that runs right down through the air band, through the FM broadcast band. Okay, right down into the HF spectrum. Let's go back to 17 megahertz, and then we can go there and we can dial up in hundreds of kilohertz, and then we can go, oh, I've lost it, there we are, and we can go into tens of kilohertz there. The signal there, let's see if we can hear anything. Let's go back and turn the volume up. Let's go over to the volume. Let's turn that up. And let's go back to the step up in 10, shall we? Bit of interference. Not expecting to pick up a great deal here in the shack really with the telescopic. One thing I notice throughout various frequencies, here's a good example. I don't know if you can hear that. I'll just move the mic. That is the screen interfering. Okay, if we tap and hold the screen, it stops everything moving, and you can hear the interference has disappeared. Let go, display's moving again, and here you are. So bit of interference from the screen, not everywhere, but on certain frequencies. I'll just see if I can find a signal so I can demonstrate the audio quality, but conditions as usual when I'm doing anything with any of these. Conditions not that good. But just to emphasize, okay, although you've got the spectrum display in the waterfall here, you cannot tap to tune. If you tap on this screen, it just stops. The display stops. Radio keeps working. Display stops. Okay, so you cannot tap to tune. The only way you can tune is either by direct frequency entry, by punching the frequency in with your stylus, or selecting the frequency reader with the encoder and then tuning that way. I'll see if I can find perhaps a medium wave frequency, but so we've got a medium wave frequency there. And let's just have a look at the gain. Just take a look at the gain controls. So we can get over there. So we've got the IF gain there highlighted. Let's have a play with that. We can see we can reduce the sensitivity of the radio, the waterfall. You can see the colour change on the waterfall as we do that. We'll crank it back up. So that's the maximum sensitivity. I'll leave it around there. Okay, so we can go there. The LCD, that's the brightness control for the LCD. So we can max that out. It's quite bright, 99. And we can take it down to quite a dim level there. So I think it was at about 50 or so. The reference, that just adjusts the waterfall. Okay. AGC, most people recommend you leave this off. Switching it on seems to cause quite a lot of overload in the display. Now bear in mind I'm on medium wave, just using a telescopic antenna. Signal's not that strong, and it already looks too strong on here. I haven't tried this on an external antenna yet, but I think I'm going to have major overload problems with it. So just leave that off. There's your mode. Okay, as you see, you've got a fixed bandwidth there. There doesn't seem to be a way of altering this. And there's your volume control. That is the radio as it stands, okay? I think it's awful to use in terms of the ergonomics of it. And I'll just turn our volume down. It's really not what you'd expect. It would have been so much better if we could have altered these with the stylus. Just tap in and then use the encoder. It's very easy to do the wrong thing with this encoder and you end up saving something to memory. I'm not sure how the memory system works. Again, we've got no instructions. Doesn't seem to be. There is an easy enough way of accessing, I think, but it's just very, very fiddly. It's best really if you're using this radio to have the encoder as the tuning knob. So you have it selected up here. That does mean that you need to make sure all of these are set. It's a case of set these items and leave them. The volume control is the issue. If you want to turn the volume up or down, you've got to get your encoder, turn it the right way. And of course, yeah, I can see already I've done the wrong thing and I'm now tuning the radio, which I didn't want to do. But I need to get my encoder there, turn the volume up. Then if I want to go back into AM mode, I'm going to do that. And so on. And then to tune around, I need to get back up there. And then I can do that. Okay, so I have to select my megahertz and then my hundreds of kilohertz and so on. Very, very difficult to navigate your way around this. It's the user interface is awful. The other slightly misleading thing about this and the disappointing thing, like I was listening to my local repeater the other day on, I've done a review of this, well, this will be a thing handy. Now my local repeater just about comes in on a handheld. Upstairs in the house I can pick it up okay. And I thought that'll be a good test of this SDR because, as we've said, okay, it tunes up. Let's just get it there. It tunes up to 149 megahertz. So 2 meter ammeter band, great. Get it on 145 megahertz. And then, you know, what do we need to do? Well, we need to get it into FM mode. And there's the problem. There is no narrow FM. Go wide FM for broadcast. FM stereo, IQ, AM, USB and LSB. There is no narrowband FM. So if you're thinking of listening to marine band, if you're thinking of listening to 2 meter ham band, or any local transmissions that use narrowband FM, you won't be able to do it with this. You won't be able to listen to FMCB or 10 meters FM because you've got no narrowband FM. So that was another disappointment. Very strange, even though the radio covers up into the VHF, and it even says there, ham radio 2 meters. Well, you'll be okay for 2 meter single sideband, but not for 2 meters FM. So there's another caveat. When this radio arrived with me, I thought I'd have to send it straight back because, as I say, everything is encoder driven. You have to press this encoder in to navigate the various functions, as we've just done there. When I got this, the push button wouldn't work. I couldn't push this knob in. The reason was simple, as I soon discovered, was the actual plastic knob had been pushed in around the shaft, and so I couldn't click. Once I pulled this out a bit, so if you do have that problem, if you get one of these, I had to pull this out a little bit, and then I was able to get that click movement because the knob was pushed hard up against the case of the radio. Without that encoder you can't do anything. Without the encoder, all you'll be able to do is alter this frequency. So you know, we can put in just put in a 49 meter band frequency there just quickly. Okay, so we're in CW mode, so we need to go there. Okay, and there we are. That's all you can do with your stylus. That's all your touchscreen does, is change frequency. With the right firmware maybe, or with the right software loaded, could this be a good radio? Possibly. Is it a good radio? No, it's barely usable. I am going to show it in use. It's a very steep learning curve to use it, but even then it's just inconvenient and fiddly. Okay, nice display, very nice display. We might see if we can explore the IQ function. I don't know whether the output of the IQ is there, then we could feed it into a PC. You know, could be useful as a power bank, I guess. You know, that's quite an unusual feature. Some people are powering their active antennas off this. However, as we'll find out, I think this is going to overload quite badly with any form of, in any way, inefficient external antenna. I think is going to cripple this. Early indications there's a pretty good battery in it. Battery life is fairly good. The output from the speaker is more than adequate, and the sound quality is pretty good, but it is just so awkward to use. I believe this is a clone of something called a Deep Elec 101, SDR 101, which has been out of production for some time. I don't think there are any firmware updates for this. It's a real shame. You know, we've got, clearly this is a touch screen, but why it was done with these parameters that you cannot tap into and cannot touch, I don't know. So there it is. That is the Beige SDR software defined radio, SDR version 5. Okay, look out for some videos of it in use. There'll be a little bit more around in the evening time for us to listen to. Second video, I'll try this on an external antenna as well, and we'll just see if it's viable. Within the first 10-15 minutes of picking this radio up, I was extremely frustrated with it. I think the interface is absolutely awful. You know, having to push and turn all the time to get anywhere with it. It's very frustrating. You've got that screen noise too we spoke about. There it is. Touch that, it's gone. When the screen's active, it's back. It's not all over the bands, but it is on quite a few frequencies. Okay, thanks for watching this one. Look out for some videos of this in action. Thanks for now.